Okay, welcome everybody. Nice to meet you, Hannah. Lovely to see everybody else. I thought today what I would do was just run you through, obviously, how I got to where I am today and what it is that I actually do today. So it all really started with way back when I was in the land of advertising and marketing for an advertising and marketing agency, Leeds-based agency, one of the largest in Yorkshire. Um, and I worked there for many, many years. And then three colleagues and myself left Butler Advertising and set up our own agency, which was great fun for a period of time. And then it started to become a bit of a pain because I've met David and we wanted to do things together, and advertising was very, very much led by deadlines. And if things didn't go according to plan, any plans that you had, you ended up having to cancel. And so it was a bit unpredictable. But the reality was that all we had to do way back when was we had TV, we had radio, we had bus backs, bus shelters, press and magazines, and that was pretty much it. And the way that we targeted, as some of you will remember, is that if you had Prestige Motors, they went in on a Saturday morning. If you had Volume Motors, they went in, I think, depending on the paper, it could have been a Thursday. Recruitment was on a Thursday. Property went in on a Thursday morning, depending whether it was posh property or not so posh property. It was very, very basic targeting. And in fact, it wasn't really targeting. It was just people were programmed to go and look at a newspaper on a particular day if they wanted a particular thing. So it's nothing like it is now. But those are the accounts that I sort of worked on at the time. I spent most of my time on the Appleyard and JCT 600 accounts, and then Barratt Homes became my actual account that I was the director on, and that was just the Yorkshire division. It wasn't the whole of the Barratt Homes, but it gives you an idea of the kind of clients that I worked on. So I left 4 a.m., as we used to call it, and went to work for a market leader called Muraspec, who I basically joined because I wanted to have sales on my CV. I wanted advertising, marketing, and sales. And so I took the first sales job that I could get because I didn't really have any official sales experience. And I thought, well, I'll just stay there for a year and get that on my CV, and then I'll leave and choose a different job. Something that I actually want. Anyway, it was so easy compared to advertising and marketing that I ended up staying for about 7 or 8 years. And that was when I had Laura, my daughter, or our daughter. And I got fed up of dropping her off at the childminders in her pajamas and picking her up in her pajamas. And I wanted a bit more flexibility. So I happened to see on the back of a toilet door in London a leaflet, a flyer that said work from home. And so I investigated that, and it was a company called Herbalife, who is a health and nutrition company. And so I started building up a little distributorship for my Herbalife business, whilst also working at Muraspec. So I'd work Muraspec through the day, and then I'd do Herbalife on an evening. And that was great. When Laura went off to school, primary school, I went full-time working my Herbalife business. So it worked really, really well. And Herbalife was a fantastic company to work for. But in 2008, when the whole world went into recession, I had this light bulb moment that I wanted to take my business online. But actually, I didn't know how to do it because all of my marketing experience was pre-digital. So I had to start from scratch. And I decided that I was going to create a website so that I could blog about health issues and sports nutrition and sell the product on the back of that. But then I realized that I needed traffic to the blog. So I needed to learn social media. And then social media ran me into Facebook advertising. So, you know, there was a process to what was going on. And I could see how I'd struggled with the technology and understanding it, and couldn't believe how many opportunities there were for businesses to promote themselves for free. They just didn't know that they were there. So I ended up helping so many of my Herbalife colleagues just doing simple things like setting up Facebook pages, because Herbalife didn't even have a Facebook page back then, even though they were a $2 billion company. And I spent probably about 4 years cutting my teeth, helping other people learn how to get online and how to do things online. And then in 2013, I realized that actually I was doing more helping other businesses how to get online and what to do than I was actually building my own business. And of course, I was helping them for free, because in network marketing, you share your knowledge for free. That's their ethos. So in 2013, I set up Rachel Moore Social Media, because it was clear that I was using the Herbalife business as a vehicle to have the flexibility, and becoming a social media trainer would obviously also provide me with the flexibility. So since then, I've helped, well, actually way over 9,200 businesses. And over the last couple of years, I've raised over £2,500 for charity. I've also managed to pick up some awards and become a CPD accredited trainer. So as I said before, the reason that I set up Rachel Moore Social Media was because I could see that there was a need to help smaller businesses navigate this new online world. But I wanted to encourage them to use social media in the right way to help them increase their visibility, grow their personal brand, and generate leads and increase sales and profits. But I wanted to do it through high quality, affordable training, because there was training out there, but it was very, very expensive. So the kind of people that I help are startups, solopreneurs, SMEs, larger businesses. The larger businesses tend to help me fund doing the cheaper stuff. Marketing departments, I can collaborate with charities, and I do go into colleges and present there. But most of my work is in the SME environment. So the kind of companies that I've helped along the way, obviously there's not 9,200 of them on there, but gives you an idea of the kind of people that I've worked with, as well as, your bog standard yoga teacher, authors, the much smaller businesses. So why do clients come to me? Well, it might be they just want support. They want to increase their confidence. They're just totally confused. They're not very effective. They're lacking in consistency. They've got no social media strategy. They totally lack enthusiasm for social media, which is very common. They're struggling with the content creation, and they want to increase visibility, or they want to grow their network or their personal brand. They don't have the right knowledge of the platforms, or they want to build their authority on a particular platform. And of course, lead generation. They want to know how to generate leads. So how can I help? Well, I do one-to-one training and ongoing coaching, where I go into a business and help businesses that way. Or the cheaper way of doing that is for businesses to come to me into my office, and I promise there won't be a cat in there, even though she would appear to be on the picture. I also do one-day workshops, which are very, very popular. And then I also go in-house and do workshops for businesses, depending upon what it is that they're wanting. I have an online training hub, or some people call it a portal, which is the most affordable way to learn social media, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I also do online masterclasses and free webinars, and have been known to speak at conferences or events if people are wanting somebody to talk about social media. And I do a little bit of social media management, but not very much. So what do I train on? These days, it's generally just LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, bit of Sales Navigator, content creation, social media strategy. They seem to be the most ones that I get asked for. I never get asked for Twitter or X anymore. My online group training hub is called the Get More Social Training Hub. And what we do in that is each week we have a bite-sized training session, which isn't compulsory. You can just, choose the ones that you want to come to. They're only about half an hour long. We record them and they get put into the hub library. But we also have drop-in content creation and consistency cafes, which is basically where we have a Zoom call and people can use it to create their content for that week or the week after. And they're on a Monday and a Wednesday. And the idea is that people carve out time to actually do their social media. And I'm there so they can ask questions if they get stuck. I also have guest speakers talking about topics that I'm not or don't feel comfortable talking about. So inside the hub, we talk about social media. Obviously, I talk about that. We talk about marketing. I talk about some of the elements of marketing, but bring speakers in for other elements. And then we also talk about business related subjects, which is where I bring the speakers in. We have a charity donation for every person who joins the hub. That's where the charity funding comes from. Any ad hoc workshops or masterclasses that I run outside of the hub, the recordings get put into the hub. There's a private support group. The members get a discounted one-to-one training. And of course, there's opportunities for them to network with other members. There is a members directory and there is a referral fee, which would apply to all of you as well, or anybody that you know. If you refer somebody to the hub and they sign up, there is a £25 referral fee, which is why it's quite good for charities, because they get that £25 referral fee for anybody that they recommend, and they get the charity donation. So it's quite a nice way for them to earn a passive income. And we plant a tree for every new member. Now, this is the great bit, because the hub actually only costs £150 for the whole year. So for 12 months membership, it's £150. So it's ridiculously cheap. This is what the hub looks like inside. You literally have those 6 sections. If you click on the social media section, it takes you to all the areas that we've got with social media training in. If you click on the marketing, it takes you to all the marketing sections. And then likewise with the business, all the lives, that's just all the lives that we've ever run. And then the Facebook support group links you out to there. And that's how you would sign up for the members directory. So it's very easy to use. So how can you help me? I thought I'd just pop that in. Obviously, referrals, introductions to business owners, web designers, accountants, or businesses that might like to white label training as part of their business, social media training, that is. Business partners to promote the hub. Just connect or follow me. Like, comment, save, and share my posts. And of course, subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter, which is called Rachel Social Snippets. I've got lots of different testimonials, all different styles. You can find them, well, a big chunk of them either on LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, or on my website. There's lots of different ones along the way. So I just thought, as we finish, I thought I'd just talk about how affordable is affordable. So if somebody's booking a one-to-one with me, a 2-hour one-to-one, it's literally £125. If somebody books a course of 12 weeks for some coaching, it's £639. The one-day workshops in Harrogate are £99. The masterclasses are £150. As you know, the Get More Social Training Hub is £150. And obviously, if I go in-house or do some online training for a group, then I have to do that according to how many people are in the training and whether it's a half day or a full day. So that's a price on application. So finally, I thought I'd just leave you with a tip. And that is to ask you all to make sure that you check that your LinkedIn profile is fully optimized. There are 10 things that LinkedIn require you to do to have it fully optimized. And if you don't do that, if you haven't filled in those 10, then you have less chance of appearing at the top of the normal search engine results. Obviously, it's not going to help build your visibility, trust, credibility, and branding. And it's not going to help you attract your ideal client and encourage organic lead generation. But the main thing is that a fully completed profile is 18 times more likely to show up in the LinkedIn search, according to LinkedIn themselves. So make sure that you've got a fully optimized profile. If you haven't and you're not sure about it, then obviously just let me know and I'll help you. So that was it. That's me. I'm all finished. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take questions.
Really interesting, Rachel. Thank you. I didn't realise how much you did, and I definitely think I've got couple of people I'm working with who would really benefit from the hub. So
Cool.
I'll pass those details
Perfect.
on.
Thank you.
Rachel, I've got a question. First of all, can I just say thank you for the presentation? I found it really interesting, and I think it's a fascinating subject. And actually, what struck me as you were talking was how social media has grown now from just being the internet to all these other channels,
Yeah.
which no doubt present their own individual opportunities. But my question was in relation to the good old-fashioned web page, and I just wondered, is it possible these days to still write a decent article and rank well on a web page through Google predominantly, or has it become the case where it's just that the biggest companies with the biggest domain authorities that can essentially just write anything and they pop up in the first three results? I just wonder what your thoughts were on how that sort of system operates these days. I know they tweak it from time to time.
The best thing to do if you're writing articles or blogs is to answer questions that are being asked.
Yeah.
So for an example, the best blog that I ever wrote was how to become an admin on Instagram. And I used to have people ringing me from America asking. I mean, it's old, it's way out of date, and I've obviously deleted it. But it was because people were typing into Google how to become an admin on Instagram, and my blog post came up. So the key is to find the questions that people are asking, and then you answer those questions.
Yeah.
And then you've got way more chance of appearing at the top. So, if you're just doing random things, you've not really got much chance of ranking. It's all about, I mean, there's loads of different things and places that you can go to get ideas. Even Google itself will give you ideas of what people are asking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the best way to do it, Jonathan.
Okay. No, that's true. I've got lots of questions, but I'm sure other people might have questions too, so
You can always email me.
okay, thank you.
No questions?
David, can I ask another one?
We've got a minute left. Thank you.
In which case, Rachel, if a new business comes to you and says, look, we don't know much about social media, how do you guide them through this huge world and lots of technology? Do you try and align them with certain channels, or how does
Yeah.
that work?
Definitely. I mean, obviously, it depends on the company, but the first thing I would be doing is finding out what it is that they're selling or producing, and then working out where their clients are, where their audience is. Because if it's a small business, there's no point in being on all the different channels, because you'll just end up creating content for all the different channels and you'll actually not do anything else. So it's imperative to find out who your ideal customer is or your ideal client, and then find out where they are. And then we would start to learn how to create content for them, in amongst other things. But that would be the crook of it, really, so that they would start with one channel, get really good at that one channel, and then maybe move on to another channel. And then ultimately perhaps move on to things like Facebook ads. But that type of person would obviously need more training than a 2-hour session. They would have to either become part of the hub, or they would have to do the sort of ongoing coaching, because they know nothing and they're going to need more help.
Okay, that's interesting. Sounds like it's a case of knowing your audience, knowing their need, and then meeting it.
Yeah, but that's the crux of all of your marketing, really.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.